Hello, this is the RPG Crawler, and welcome once again to a Tabletop News Roundup. This time for April 12th, 2025, where each week I take a look back at the week in tabletop role-playing game news and bring you the highlights, especially the indie highlights. Going to be another short week this week, no graphics and such. Those of you who watched my computer RPG News Roundup earlier understand what happened. My mom took a turn for the worse last week. She's been in the ICU. I've been there most of the time. But I need the distraction, so here's the news. It looks like Jeremy Crawford is leaving Wizards of the Coast later this month. While we did know that Chris Perkins was on the way out, this one's a bit of an interesting one. Crawford was one of the designers behind 5th edition, and actually has been with Dungeons and Dragons team for a while now. So this will be interesting to see where Wizards of the Coast goes with this, because I'm not sure how many people they have left that really know Dungeons and Dragons. So who else will seek an exit if there's anybody left? Don't know what that bodes for the future with that game. Anyway, it looks like Mongoose Publishing has acquired the rights to Dark Conspiracy RPG. That's a game that was originally produced in 1991. It is a dark horror style game with a near future dystopian United States. It has already had 3 editions out. The original one in 91, one in 95, and I think the latest one was in 2012. So it'll be interesting to see where Mongoose goes with this. Greg Gillespie is holding a dungeon design contest for his Dragon Slayer RPG, I think until the end of this month. Rules are on his social media, which I do not have linked. I'm sorry, I don't have social media beyond YouTube. Anyway, it does look like they're using a brief dungeon using the format listed in the Dragon Slayer RPG book, which I recently got. I need to do a review on that, but I've got a slew of reviews and way too little time to do it right now. The winner is going to get a mix of his products, depending on how they place. So if you're looking to get any of those products, that'd be a good time to try it. It looks like Castles and Crusades Player's Handbook 7th printing is now available as a pay-what-you-want product over on DriveThruRPG, so you can get it for basically free. This is not the latest printing, but the printing before that, when they were still more closely tied to the SRD and the OGL. Onwards towards minor and PDF releases, Legendary Games has Horde Monsters for Pathfinder 2nd Edition. It is a bestiary with nearly 3 dozen creatures that can be used in various dungeons, especially focused on treasure hoards. It also comes in a 5th edition version. Elderlight Press has a few more offerings for 5th edition. They have Labyrinth of Lost Dreams, which is part of their Shattered Veil series, The Luminous Hollow, which is a seaside micro-setting, and then Whispers from the Hollow, which includes a number of folk horror-based subclasses. Valley of the Hourglass is another 5th edition based module, this one designed in a choose-your-own-adventure style to be played with no Dungeon Master. Fateless, the Beast of Estragovia, is from Mammoth Factory, a one-shot set in the Fateless fairy tale setting for 5th edition. Apocalypse from the Depths is another 5th edition adventure, this time from Adventure Ripples. It is part of an ongoing campaign. This one's suited for levels 9 to 12. The Horn of Khalid the Tyrant is a 5th edition adventure dealing with the hidden wealth of a long-gone tyrant. Ascendancy of Nur-Riza is a 5th edition adventure for 5th and 6th level characters that starts with a missing persons case but quickly begins to involve curses and cult activity. It is suited for a one-shot play. Elven Tower has a couple offerings for both 5th edition and Shadowdark. There is Siege of the Griffin, Siege of the Griffin Wagon, which is a level 3 adventure that can be used with both systems, as well as Dungeon Vault Magazine number 56, which includes material and adventures for 5th edition and Shadowdark. And Publishing has a couple of issues in their Level Up Gate Pass Gazette magazine for Advanced 5th edition. I'm sorry about that yawn. Each one contains options as well as adventure material for that system. Extended Wizard Mishaps is a Shadowdark compatible supplement that expands the Wizard Mishaps chart for more variety. Song of the Sorrow King is a Shadowdark compatible adventure focused on tomb raiding and set within a burial complex and cave system. Atomic Shadows RPG is a Shadowdark derived post-apocalyptic adventure game offering new weapons, armor, and similar rules to support that genre. I cannot stop yawning. I am exhausted. My bad. The Tabletop Engineer, and I should probably cut that out, but I need to get this done. The Tabletop Engineer has another pair of zines filled with more options, tables, and so forth. There is Runes number 6 for Shadowdark, or the Shadowdark-based zine, and then Delver issue 17, which is more OSR and old school essentials focused. Danse Macabre has a adventure for OSR style systems dealing with a settlement where people have stopped dying and the dead have started to rise and walk again. The PCs are hired by a noble to figure out what's going on here. The Herbo Master is an old school essentials compatible adventure focused on an eccentric botanical cemetery. The Lost Dungeons of Tonisberg is a 10-level mega dungeon originating from the very earliest days of the RPG hobby, now published with extensive background information It can be run with most OSR systems. Troll Godfather Press has Lamashtu's Lair, a solo adventure for Monsters and similar systems. Maze's Fantasy RPG. Sorry about that. I was wondering what this was saying. Maze's Fantasy RPG, which it decided to print as Made This Fancy RPG. Well, whatever. That sounds like an RPG I'd play. Anyway, Maze's Fantasy RPG has the 33rd module in their adventure series called The Witch King's Curse, which deals with exploring a lair of a long-dead Witch King. For the Love of the Damned is an adventure suite for Dragonbane RPG that has a gothic horror theme. Rome, the historical role-playing game, is what it says on the tin, an RPG set in the era of the Roman Empire. Tales of the Old West is a core rulebook for the Year Zero engine-based RPG set in the old American West. Then there's the Definitive Wrestling RPG, which is meant to be an RPG based on pro wrestling, but with extreme and supernatural moves mixed in. Infinity's Edge, Isekai Edition, is a new version of a tabletop RPG where you take on the role of a gamer in the future who is logged into a fully immersive VR MMORPG. Tethered Flesh Survival Guide is an RPG based on horror and survival, where the characters can graft on mutations with scarce resources and various other rule systems. Finally, Mongoose has The Riverland for Traveler, which is an entry into their 5th Frontier War series. With that, let's move on to crowdfunding campaigns. Remember that contributing to a crowdfunding campaign should be done only at your own risk. Doing so is no guarantee of even receiving a product. Mentioned here is not an endorsement, but it is for informational purposes only. It looks like Beer and Magic will be a one-shot adventure for 5th edition, focusing on enchanted potions and their dangers. Terror at Murkwell will be a 5th edition compatible mystery adventure suited for lower level characters and designed as an introduction to the Dark World campaign setting. Rain Sporist Odyssey is looking to be a 5th edition mega dungeon set in a jungle filled with various sorts of large mushrooms. Fenn's Guide to Myriad Realms will be funding a set of 4 settings with associated races, classes, monsters, NPCs, and so forth. The Kingdom of Keshanar is to be an ancient Egyptian-inspired 5th edition setting and campaign, which will include various playable lineages, subclasses, monsters, spells, magic items, as well as a campaign to take characters from level 1 to level 10. The Emperor's Dream will be an adventure in the Osmoria series, wherein the Emperor of a great dynasty has been trapped in a dream for days. B Dragon will be funding a 5th edition supplement with options to play as a dragon within the 5th edition system, balanced against other characters. Traveler's Guide to the City of Dark Gods will be yet another 5th edition offering, this time a zine dealing with witches resisting an inquisition in the city of Dameron. Galactic Pantheon will be a 5th edition supplement focused on a cosmic pantheon dealing with gods of technology, time, and the void. Gary's Appendix is looking to fund a hardcover omnibus of their material for old school essentials and similar OSR systems, collecting the 6 issues that are currently outstanding into one volume, or rather material from them. Then there's issue 45 of Populated Hexes Monthly, another in a series of OSR-compatible material, this time focusing on the servants of the undead citizens of that land. Then there's the Lemurian Chronicles for Barbarians of Lemuria, a supplement that offers adventures as well as backgrounds for the Mythic Plus edition. Simply Savage Bestiary will offer a collection of 140-plus creatures for the Savage Worlds RPG. Call to Ascension will be a high-fantasy tabletop RPG where you play characters looking to defeat creatures that have invaded your formerly peaceful world. Bitter Chalice will be a tabletop RPG inspired by Souls-like games, although it does rather heavily use maps and tokens and so forth, which I don't generally cover because that usually verges more into a board game than an RPG, but I'll do it this time, sure, why not. And finally, we'll have a reprint for the Hardwired Island RPG, a retro-future cyberpunk tabletop RPG from 2021. On that note, I'm going to wrap things up here. This has been the RPG Crawler with my Tabletop RPG News Roundup for April 12th, 2024. Links will be below. And thank you very much for putting up with my slowness. It has been a hellish week to top off a really rough month, and I am just I'm praying that we don't lose her, basically. Anyway, until next time, take care and goodbye.
And if you are still watching, I would like to take the opportunity to thank my supporters, the top tiers of which are listed on the screen, without whose support I would not have been able to offer the variety of content that I have on this channel throughout the years. If you're feeling particularly generous and would like to join them, you can support the channel. There are a variety of options to do so. I have a Patreon, a Subscribestar, as well as channel memberships enabled. If you are not in a position to contribute, simply leaving a like, a comment, or sharing my videos are all wonderful ways to help the channel grow without spending a dime, and are all greatly appreciated.